All-wheel drive. It does make a difference when you go to wet, patchy grasses and all that, but a front-wheel drive could easily do this, no problem. It's just that this one does it with ease. Because these are not off-road tires. Alright. And 2.5 turbo, eh? Okay, very smooth. Power delivery is very, very smooth. And oh, Mazda's sharpness in chassis. It's a completely different thing from the Santa Fe I drove just now. It's absolutely different. It's the agility of the car. Damn. It's so agile. Just overtake so easy. No problems. Oh, okay. Okay, don't buy the others, just buy the 2.5 turbo. Just buy the 2.5 turbo if you can afford it. It's so good. Damn. Oh. Because this chassis can handle so much. This is such a good... Whew. What a ninja. This SUV. This is agile. Alright, wait for Con here. Alright guys, I did not manage to do a Genting uphill run in this car. And then I did a downhill run in Cantonese. I'll just do a highway drive. Because even the 2-litre 2.5 CX-5 is already so great at those windy bits. But one place they would not be as convincing as this one if you were to upgrade to the 2.5 turbo is something like this. You know, that Valfire and that Hilux would not have guessed that I'll be able to pick up at such a short distance, getting up to speed so fast and overtake them so convincingly within that short span of time and distance. Okay? And this is also the first time that I felt the body roll of the CX-5 because of the amount of power you can put down while negotiating a turn. This is 420 Newton meters of torque. That's the equivalent of a V8 Audi RS4. 4.2 V8. Yeah, 420 Newton meters. This is more than an F30 335i N55 engine, 3-litre twin-scroll turbocharged engine. That only comes with 400 Newton meters of torque. This one has 420. From a mid-size family SUV. Now this engine was originally placed into the CX-9, which is in every measure reasonable, because the CX-9 is huge. The CX-9 is longer than a Volvo XC90, of which the XC90 is already bigger than the Q7. So the CX-9 is both larger than the Q7 and the XC90. And it's a behemoth of a car with tons of soundproofing material. The CX-9 is quieter than the XC90. So this engine was initially for that. So not a lot of horsepower, but a lot of torque to move that immense weight. And Mazda just did a muscle car with it by taking that engine and dropping it into this. Straight up, lock, stock, barrel, boom. So there you have it. Now we have a CX-5 with the kind of horsepower that can harass an X3, a GLC NX, Audi Q5, not the XC90 T8 though. That car has 400 horsepower and 640 Newton meters of torque. Nevertheless, how does the car feel? Now, I've always praised the CX-5. In the 2 liter, the 2.5, I've always praised that car because the harmony between the chassis, the engine, the drivetrain, everything is just excellent, right? And now, with this 2.5 engine, it actually, now, it is still very enjoyable to drive. It's much faster. I have the kind of speed and all that. But it reveals something to me. It reveals the other components of this car on where their operating limits are. Case in point, the brakes. Case in point, the suspension. Because I'm now able to do speeds at places or conditions that I wasn't able to exploit. Let's give you an example. There are 4 continuous turns, alright? A left, and then a right, and then a left on those Genting roads. So in the 2 liter 2.5, after I brake my car, I make the first turn, I have to rev the car to slowly build up speed to the next one. And it almost seems the car was developed there because it's perfect. It's just harmonious and just about right. However, in this car, after the first turn, while the turn was about to open up, I can immediately floor the car and build up so much speed that when I reach the second turn, I need to brake rather hard, and that exposes whether the brakes are enough, you know, for this kind of these sort of ways that I operate the car. And then when I turn the car, I'm still at a higher rate of speed with carrying a lot of momentum and kinetic energy, and the car, I felt the body roll. So I wouldn't say that this is as bonkers as when Mazda dropped the 2.3 turbo into the Mazda 3 back then. Back then, the MPS literally went through nothing except an engine swap. Cowboy style, muscle car style, and that car torque steer like nobody's business, right? Whereas this one, Mazda decided to fit it with an all-wheel drive, which is a very clever move. You need all-wheel drive for 420 Newton meters of torque, right? And it reduces the torque steer, but you feel that little push and pull on your steering wheel. You feel that, you can almost feel that this car wasn't designed with the CX-5, with the 2.5 turbo at the first place. That was what I felt, okay? But nevertheless, is it enjoyable? Of course it's enjoyable. You get the kind of fast lane traveling rights and authorities that you normally would associate with a premium car. You know, something like a 2 liter turbo, BMW X3, Mercedes GLC, and the likes of it. And now your humble little CX-5 is here, joining the big boys, and basically there's no longer the gains are already marginal when you reach this kind of horsepower and torque output on a highway daily drive. It's already about who has the bigger balls to go faster for longer distance, or who is stupider, or who's stupider to go even faster, right? So yeah, a lot of power, still has the same poise, but in a way it makes you more alive. Also in a way, this is an SUV, a mid-sized family car, that you shouldn't be doing this. Put it this way, I have more power or more torque than the base Porsche Macan. Yeah, immense. Everything else is just the same. You know, the car, you have the updated speedometer, you have the quiet ride, comfortable suspension, the same compact dimensions but usable nonetheless, and seats that are still a bit too high. I would have hoped I can drop myself down another 2 inch or so, 2 or 3 inch, but the seats are still rather high up, but comfortable nonetheless. Very comfortable seating position nonetheless. Alright, and it's a good thing they fit it with all-wheel drive. If not, this car will be wheel spinning like crazy. And the way it accelerates is not as crazy as some of the other 2-litre turbocharged cars. In fact, it accelerates in a way that is rather linear and progressive. Alright? Let's do the daily part, like how we would drive after we own this car for the 3rd month. Oh, the Renault Clio. Lovely car. The Clio is a lovely car, beautiful looking, and not a very smart 7-speed dual clutch, unfortunately. Yep. See, this car is so quiet. So quiet for its class. It's amazing. The previous CX-5, everybody complained about road and tire noise, and then this new one is like quiet, comfortable. Oh, look at the X3. So ugly. Oh dear. This is the 1st generation X3, and it has got to be one of the ugliest cars in the world. Yeah, the car feels very quiet. Oh, I stopped. Okay, it has switched off the engine. Mazda has something like a capacitor sort of thing that maintains the air conditioning, the other stuff. And when I lift off, it starts again. It starts very fast with very little vibration for its start-stop system. The nice part about this engine isn't when I want to drive fast, I notice, is when on daily drive, when I want to put down my throttle just to gain 1 car's length, or just to able to maneuver. It is immediate. It has that kind of torque delivery to do that in an instant, and it makes slow driving very enjoyable. You know. A case in point, let me give an example of the W205 Mercedes C-Class when it first came out back in 2000, was it 14? Yeah, or 13? That 7-speed G-tronic gearbox and that engine, there are times whereby you're just driving slowly like that, and then the car stop and let you merge. You know your car will stop, you put a signal, and then another car stop and let you go in. You want to don't waste everybody's time and just accelerate a little bit so that your car can move over. It lags and then just not respond, and it's damn annoying. And then while your car slowly rolls there, suddenly the turbo comes in and it lurches you up front, and you have to slam the brakes in order to not hit the other car. That was a harrowing experience and annoying experience, you know. And I've also tried coming out from a junction whereby I know at the back of my head I have a C250 at my disposal with 211 horsepower, 350 Newton meters of torque, motorsport heritage, blah 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 blah. And then I want to come out from that junction. I put down my throttle a little bit more, and then the car just slowly rolls out, does nothing, and I was so petrified that the car that was coming might hit me, you know, things like that. This one has zero issues of that because this engine was tuned to behave like a big engine, one that immediately gives you the kind of push And even though it's not a hard, full throttle type, but it's that that grunt to move that mass immediately. I like that. Alright? Yep. Slow driving done, and bad roads done. Overall is a fantastic car, but herein lies the problem. 190,000, 180 plus. Is it crazy expensive? If you look at the top of the range of the CRV, it's about 170 plus. This one is another 10k. Yes, a lot more power, but people who buy cars from this segment, they are we supposed to move? No, right? Yeah, we're supposed to move. Okay, screw it. Sorry. Oh, did I got confused? Ah, I was supposed to go straight. I'm sorry. Oh, Civic Type R. Hello. Oh, Volvo S90 T8. This car is just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Will you spend 180 over thousand on a car that looks just about the same as another one that starts probably 138? Maybe they could have made the 2.5 turbo slightly more special, with some red color leather and some sporty bits here and there, just to give that extra excitement to it, maybe lowered the suspension. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, that's about it. Cheers, guys.